session. Second, Mr. Nollenberg.
That's okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote for me. Tonight's meeting will be visually recorded. And Mr. Gould, if you would please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready to begin?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, tonight the Board of Education took no actions in closed session. So, gentlemen, I am pleased to announce one of our students from Temple City High School, Miss Temple City Princess Sabrina Macy, would like to present to us her community interest and platform she ran on.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be presenting to you tonight. My name is Sabrina Macy, and I'm a Miss Temple City Princess. I am here because it is my duty as a princess to carry out my promise of completing my platform issue. Every member on the court has an issue they would attempt to fix if they were given the opportunity to be on the court, and the one I have chosen impacts the way we teach our children about drug abuse. Drug abuse is hardly a new topic in health class, but as a teen attending Temple City High School, I firmly believe there should be a new way to teach it. See, both parents and schools have taught their children at an early age since the 80s to just say no to drugs, because the best drug prevention in the world is never to do it in the first place. However, I think statistics speak louder than any argument someone could have. There are approximately 50,000 people in the United States who have overdosed on drugs in the last 5 years. And according to recent studies, these deaths have been caused by illegal narcotics. We are very lucky here in Temple City, where teen drug usage is minimal compared to other areas. However, this issue may not impact Temple City teens now, but it's very possible it might in the near future. Drug overdoses are the leading cause of teen death, followed by traffic accidents and guns. And according to Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 105 people die every day from a drug overdose. You might be asking yourselves, how many teens' lives are actually affected by drug abuse? The answer is more than you would want to believe. When teens attend college, 4 out of every 10 students use drugs in some shape or form throughout their college career. We have long passed the point of just saying no to drugs because people are ignoring the warning that has been ingrained in us since as long as anyone can remember. I propose that we not only continue to teach our students that illegal drug use is never okay, but teach these students that what to do if someone overdoses. There are critical steps to take in this life-threatening situation, and by not teaching our students what to do, this can be the difference between life and death. We are a school district that prides itself on giving our students the tools for success for real-life situations, and we need to do the same when it comes to the issue of drug abuse. Drug abuse impacts everyone from all walks of life, and it knows no boundaries. It knows no gender, no race, no age, no language, no religion, no country. We can't keep turning a blind eye to an issue that is growing so rapidly in size and hope that our students never encounter it. It's up to you to give our students, who are your children, the ability to save a life. And maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not a week from tomorrow, but just one day it might pay off. Imagine a student's spouse accidentally taking too much of a prescription drug because they misread the label, or their child manages to get into a pill bottle thinking it was candy. You can be the difference between these people losing their loved ones or saving them. We live in an unpredictable world, but that doesn't mean we have to face these dangerous situations unprepared. Thank you.
Bring it, people up, we have something.
Something to put your platform on, your official
Thank you.
district. And we're so proud of you.
Thank you.
we'll definitely be reaching out to you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ms. Macy. It took a lot of courage for you to come and speak to us tonight like you have, and I really appreciate what you are willing to do for the community and the time that you and your parents have to give for your year in service at Temple City. And I know you've done many years ahead of this for all the school activity you've done, and your mom and dad, so I appreciate you and the Macy family for all that you do for Temple City. Okay, moving on. I have one request here for public comments. Mrs. Mary C.
Members of, members of the board and Superintendent Brink. As you know, I'm Mary Sneed, and for the last 3 years, I was honored to serve as the event chair for the Temple City Relay for Life. This was our 6th annual Relay for Life in Temple City. And on behalf of our 211 participants, our 27 teams, our 38 survivors, and our 27 committee members, I wanted to just come tonight and thank the board and the district for being one of our presenting sponsors for the last 6 years. You've been with us from the beginning. I want to thank you. I want to thank Larry especially. He was our logistics chair this year, and Larry, I really appreciate all the work you did to keep things running smoothly and getting things set up. And but I just wanted to acknowledge many people from the district who did help us make this a really great event. We did it a little earlier this year, which helped because it was a little cooler. The weekend we normally would have had it was 105 degrees, so we were very thankful we had moved it a little earlier in the year. But I wanted to acknowledge Dr. Lasher and her staff for accommodating us at the high school. They bent over backwards trying to find anything else that they could help us with. Cy and his custodial team were there 24 hours with us. Anytime we got on walkie-talkie and asked them for something, they were there within minutes to move ice, move water, open doors, open gates. They were empty trash. They were there. They were a phenomenal team. I wanted to also acknowledge Mr. Edo. I had asked him to be our keynote speaker. Did a phenomenal job. I know he was a little nervous about sharing his story, but he did a phenomenal job. And he had a lot of people in tears that morning. I also wanted to acknowledge Bert Ferntile and the Pride of Temple City, who led our survivor lap and to the auxiliaries. They performed at our luminaria ceremony Saturday night, and they had everybody in tears again from their beautiful performance. It was something that was just very emotional, and to have the youth from our high school participating really meant a lot to us. So far to date, when we closed Relay, we're at 50, we had a goal of 50,000, which we reached that morning. But people kept sending in money, and as of today, we're at $55,330, which for 6 years of doing Relay in Temple City, we have raised over $300,000 for the fight against cancer, and we're very proud of that. So I just wanted to come tonight and acknowledge the community that we have in Temple City Unified. As I mentioned at Relay, I feel very blessed to be able to work in this district, and I feel very grateful that we have the support of the district, excuse me, that we've had the support of the district from day one, and that we've been able to have so many members of Temple City Unified involved in Relay, and I appreciate all of your support. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary. I never like to take credit, and I was only effective because of the people who had my back, which was our superintendents, Kathy Preedy and Marianne Sorrell. When I asked them for help with logistics and getting power on the field, they went to Tony in maintenance, and they came up with a plan to help us with the generator and all the spider boxes, and I just kind of oversaw it and made sure it ran that weekend. But you know, it takes a village, and we have a great village that's really was just more than willing to jump in and do whatever was necessary to make that a successful weekend. So I thank Kathy and Marianne too. Okay, so I have one request for comment tonight. Moving on to district updates. Business services, Marianne Sorrell.
Good evening. I'll give you a brief update on the bond. So the Temple City High School, the two-story classroom building, the teachers are beginning to move in and most of the furniture has been delivered. Exterior concrete flat work is being cleaned and sealed this week. The Phase 1B project, the locker room building modernization and field renovation, the plans have been approved by the DSA and we're working on bid scheduling for this project. The interim housing removal project has begun. The electricity and power are being shut down, asphalt removed, and then the actual buildings will be removed shortly. In Building 500, it's not a bond project, but a deferred maintenance project. We're changing 3 classrooms that weren't quite full classrooms into 2 classrooms, and that's on schedule. The last piece to be done is adding carpet. The Longden Elementary School project, demolition and abatement is complete in the first, second, and third phases, and drywall installation, and insulation are complete. The plumbing and electrical are also complete, and the cabinets have been installed. For Cloverly Elementary and La Rosa for modernization phase 2, the architect is beginning the design phase for each of those projects. And then some more deferred maintenance projects that are being worked on this summer. At the high school, room 701, the demolition's been completed and the walls are painted. We're putting a new hardwood dance floor. Mirrors will also be installed around that room, as well as a drinking fountain. That's all being done by inside staff. 704 has also been demoed, and new flooring is going to start in today. Should be finished midweek next week with the whiteboard and tackboard being installed as well. At Oak, we're demoed the old baseball building. You may know is in the back of the property behind the backstop, and then there's a block wall between the gym and that field, and that's also been demoed. Longden, we've had some new installation of AC. We're using Millie Hall during the construction, moving classrooms around, so we put some air conditioning there to make it more comfortable for the staff and students. La Rosa, we have some new gates we're adding and new hardware, and that's about it. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Educational services, Dr. Kistler.
Good evening. Just a couple of things. As you may have heard, we've been working with technology to update our infrastructure a little more. And so one of the most notable pieces is that we have instituted Google Gmail for our staff. And so we've moved through that with a few transitional glitches, but for the most part, we see something very positive. The other piece that we are doing is we will continue our training for our teachers and for our other staff members. Tomorrow, we will have Google training for anyone who wants it. We also will have an additional piece of special ed training for de-escalation of any issues that one may find with the campus if they need to work with a student who may just need some additional support in that manner. And finally, we're just getting ready for the start of the new school year, so lots to transition, and I look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Personnel services, Dr. Kuhn.
Thank you, sir. Well, you know, this is always a busy time for personnel, trying to get fully staffed. Over the summer, we are probably about 4 positions away from being fully staffed, which I'm hoping to be at that point mid next week, maybe 2 weeks to be done with everything. So unless anything else changes, which I will let you know.
Thank you. Bargaining units, TCEA.
Yes. I would like to speak when you discuss the grading policy,
Okay.
if I could do that.
No problem. Anything from CSEA 105? CSEA 823? Student board member comments.
So as you know, summer school has ended in preparation for the incoming school year. The high school registration is hosting their registration during the week of August 14th. Rampage workshops for the school newspaper on August 15th through 17th. ASB just finished their cadet leadership camp from July 7th to 10th, which is where we got our uniforms, our polos. And then in preparation for the school year, their ASB is having a retreat from July 31st to August 1st to plan out events and discuss what we need to do, discuss the roles, particularly any questions that might come up. And that's all about it for today's report.
Well, thank you very much. Board member comments, Mr. Gould.
Yeah, first I'd like to thank Ms. Macy for her presentation stuff. That was very interesting and anything we could help with on the board. We'd be glad to sure help her. And the Relay for Life, I was there for the Saturday presentation stuff and we'll walk around. Very impressive. And I thought the most impressive thing was to see everyone that was involved with working on it and the amount of money that they made. And on a fun note, the summer school, the performing arts, Madagascar Junior, the two performances they had, it was great to watch all the kids perform and we see that they had a lot of fun and really enjoyed their performance.
Thank you. Mr. Nolberg.
It's just very quickly, there wasn't very many events since school's not in session. But I also attended the Walk Relay for Life and was very pleased to see Steve give his presentation, which was very moving. And I'm glad that they raised as much money as they did. Some of the general areas, maybe a concern long term, is the use of bicycles on campuses, the different campuses, how safe we use them, and the question about drug use, etc., whether we should be addressing that as a board. And also, there is a lot of discounts given for drivers training, certain driver training, and a lot of it's free. And you can take advantage of it. If you go to some of the hospitals and some of the other places, I guess AAA or somebody puts it on and for free, but it gives you a discount on your driver's insurance. That's it. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Bell.
All right. Well, I echo the comments of Member Gould. Wanted to say that we are very fortunate to have quite a number of students who are so mature beyond their years in the way they think about each other. It's amazing. I can't even say at that age that I thought that way. So I'm very glad to see that we have quite a few, like people here, and the rest of this cohort. So we appreciate that. Other than that, more sleep from me this time around. So nothing else. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thanks. I regret that I wasn't able to make the Relay for Life this year. I was traveling. I'm glad it was a great success. And I'm glad to hear that our district was providing the support that we always have, or maybe even outdoing ourselves. So thanks to all the staff who made sure that happened. And I was very impressed with Ms. Macy. I'm sorry she's not here, but we're talking to the camera, right? That was very impressive and effective presentation. So it always makes me feel good to see our students, presenting or participating or taking leadership in anything. There's so many different opportunities to do that. So she's grabbed a little bit onto that particular topic. I look forward to discussing it further. And other than that, I was out of town a little bit, but I'm glad to be back. And thank you all for conducting some business in my absence, so I didn't have to.
Very well, I will simply echo my colleagues' comments and I will pass it on to Ms. Bree.
Just a couple pieces I want to share. I had the privilege of attending the Oak Avenue ASB retreat, and it was an overnighter, thanks to Jessica Gould and some of the other Oak staff who made that a reality for the students. That was their request, and so I believe they camped in the band room because of the nice chilly conditions in there. They could turn the air way down, get in their sleeping bag. So, and then I had the privilege of introducing Jamie Hahn to them as well, the new principal, and they had a great dialogue with her. And then next week I'll be joining Samuel and his team for the Tennessee High School ASB treatment.
I am not seeing any written comments here for tonight, so we'll move on to our discussion information portion of the agenda. These are items that the board would like to discuss or information presented to the board, and these items do not require board action. So first on that section would be item 18, which is to review the Williams complaint quarterly summary as presented by Dr. Kistler.
Good evening once again. As you have heard, it's a quarterly document that we review with our principals and our sites to make sure that we have all the materials and the teachers that are required California statutes, and we do certify that through superintendent review, and then we bring that to you so at this point in time we have no issues with Williams.
Any questions on it? Okay. I've asked Mr. Rowe to kind of give us an update on our facilities usage and the joint use agreements. So, Mr. Rowe, if you would please.
That's a little easier to see. So as promised earlier this year, I'd like to provide an overview of the facilities used for the 17-18 school year. Excuse me, 16-17 school year. I'm already moving ahead. For 17-18, in case you're interested, right now we only have about 5 applications, and it's sort of slow this time of year, and they start picking up in August or September. So
This starts, when does 16 officially start? June?
So this would cover July 1, 2016 to June 30, 2017, which is the school year of the fiscal year. So the way the spreadsheet is organized, going left to right, it's organized and sorted by school site first, and then by the fourth column, which is the requesting organization, just so you can see they'll sort of group together. The California Civic Center Act allows schools to be used for public literary scientific meetings to discuss matters of general public interest, child care for preschool to elementary age students, supervised recreational programs, patriotic ceremonies, citizen or school community councils and clubs, senior citizen-focused activities, any kind of education, political groups, or nonprofit community groups such as the Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, campfires, or PTA groups. The majority of our facility use requests are for the after-school educational programs that we refer to as the trendy schools, as well as sports activities, primarily baseball, basketball, soccer, tennis, the city recreation programs and their Stars Club, and the Boys and Girl Scouts. So the first page is showing you Cloverleaf. The district office gets used a little bit, and Emperor. And then Emperor continues on page 2. And as I said, they're just organized by which group it is, and then as you go across the spreadsheet, it shows which days they requested, days of the week, and then specific dates, and then the hours. And the very last column will tell you which of the facilities in particular that they're using. Longden, generally speaking, is one of the heaviest used sites. It's a little bit going to be lighter this year. We're limiting access due to the significant construction that's going on. And we did let all the groups know about 7 months in advance so they could make better arrangements. Any questions? Yes, sir?
Which groups are paying and how much?
All these groups are paying? And
Which ones are and how much are we collecting?
so all of these groups, except like the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, pay. And the they are based on the study that we brought to you and those rates that you approved.
Well, we had much of a decline in facilities usage since we initiated that study back in early 16.
A couple of groups have reduced use, primarily the city, but other than that, we've had the same or a little bit of a growth. We have some groups that were not paying fees that were using our facilities, and we've reached out and worked with all of them, and they're all now paying fees.
And each of these groups, are they have an agreement with us, or are they under this request for facilities usage?
So what they do is they put in a request for the facilities use. The business services office tells them what it will cost them to use what they outlined. If they're accepting those rates, then we reach out to the site and ask them if the use is acceptable for them. So if the price is acceptable to the user, the principal is okay with the use of the school, then we notify them that it's been okay. If they reject the price, of course, we don't pass on to the principal, and if the principal has a reason to reject it, then we tell them we're sorry, we're unable to accommodate their request.
So is this more information than that has been gathered by the district office in the past? In terms of the interview of all the office compiled the usage of each site?
Yes.
Okay. And will it continue? Will you continue to monitor, go through the same procedure that you just described?
We do. We have a spreadsheet that's actually has more data than what you're seeing, but it's not really interesting to you. But that we give each one a contract number, and we put dates of approval and that kind of thing. And it's also really hard to read on the spreadsheet. It was too small. So we do collect more data than what's displayed here, but we will continue to do that ongoing.
And I appreciate that. I think all of us do, to be able to see it all together here, because obviously we each know about some uses that we've seen in schools, sites that we go to, but there's a lot of uses that I wasn't familiar with. And so just to see it compiled and to get a real sense of how many hours and what facilities being used, it definitely helps us. So thank you for presenting it.
May I ask how long did it take you to compile this?
So that's very difficult to answer because we keep the spreadsheet going as applications come in. Okay, so it's an ongoing spreadsheet. I took that spreadsheet and maybe spent, I don't know, an hour reorganizing to make it a little bit more palatable for this arena. But we keep it up as the applications come in.
So to be respectful to you and staff's time, how difficult is it when we ask to see this information in order for you all to produce it? You just basically print out the spreadsheet because you're keeping it up to date at all times?
Yes, it's no problem at all.
The one thing that, and Marianne's being a bit modest, when she said reaching out to the groups, she met with a number of interested groups. We met collectively with some groups to try to work with them on their use. Some of the groups, because there wasn't any type of charge before, that's when she says they've reduced their time. It was because there was no need for them not to reduce their time. And then some of the groups who had made commitments and agreements with students, and when I say students, kids in our district for different programs, then we worked with them, for example, Little League, to ensure that the programs weren't compromised and that they had everything that they needed while still staying within the guidelines of what the study recommends. And the important part, as we all recall, we've invested a lot of money. Marianne went through the list of the bond projects that are ongoing, as well as the deferred maintenance. We're investing a lot into our facilities and fields, and so we want to ensure that we have the proper dollars to support the use, and to make sure that the use is appropriate and not overtaxing, so that when our student athletes or our students on a daily basis have the opportunity to utilize a field, a classroom, or another facility that it's in a condition that's appropriate for the investment that we make.
If I might add, we also share this with the facilities group. If they're out, fertilizing or aerating soil and someone comes and says, no, we have the area, they know who has approval to be there or not. So then they know whether they need to step back or they can say, I'm sorry.
Just, do we save some money on facilities now?
I'm not sure what you mean, I'm sorry.
Because we're now charging for people to use our facilities. Are we collecting more money than enough to be able to break even on maintaining and continuing the use of the facilities?
So we wouldn't be anywhere close to breaking even on the maintenance of the facilities, but we are being much more careful about who's using the facilities and appropriately charging them as law and ed code allows.
Let's be able to venture a guess on this, how far behind we are from what we collect on the cost. It's really not a fee at all, it's just covering the cost of maintaining facilities. From what we collect to what we have to pay, what's the difference?
I would have to do an analysis of that, but what we have to keep in mind is the majority of the use of the facility is for our students.
Well, I understand that, and that's, never want to go cheap on them, but it's for future budgeting purposes and what we want to keep in mind, it's kind of nice to know what that spread is. So we can make sure that there's proper money to be spent so the fields are always safe and they're always evolving to what, as athletes evolve, so our facilities have to evolve too. And we need to have a deferred maintenance to make sure it's covered.
Right.
If we could have that information along with this usage more routinely throughout the year, then because we always adjust the budget, right?
Yes.
Just for us to know, not that we don't trust what you're telling us, that's not the case at all, never. But we need to make important decisions too, and just understand.
And we all need to keep in mind that there was a period of probably 15 years where virtually no money was spent to keep the facilities up. So we're trying to catch up and then stay on top of them and keep them in really good shape.
Last one. I know that we're more consistent now with what we're asking groups to pay, but it's not quite true that nobody was paying before. We didn't just start requesting money, but some groups had been paying or some groups hadn't, and so we're more consistent now based on the studies that had been done, the rates that we all set. Is that fair?
Any question? The usage business in 2016, 2017?
Yes.
So what did you this year, July?
So this would be through June 30 of 17. It goes the same as the school year, July 1 to June 30. And then we have a new spreadsheet set up already for the 17-18 school year, but it only has about 5 folks on there right now. It's very small. That it can be too meaningful to look at tonight, but I'll certainly bring it to you throughout the year.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Okay, we're moving on to our discussion and action agenda. These are items that require discussion, but upon which the board is expected to take action during this meeting. Item 20 is, I will move to approve the consolidated application for 2017-2018. Seconded by Mr. Gould. Is there anything to add?
Good evening, just really, get that together. Too soft or too loud. But basically, the consolidated application is our reporting of what we and how we use our title funds. And so we need twice a year, February and then again in June, to report to the state how and what we are doing in order to participate in Title I, Title II, and the 2 parts of Title III. And Title I, just to remind everyone, is for underachieving students. Title II, teacher quality. Title III has two parts, one for limited English proficient students and another element for immigrant students. Before we are able to utilize these, each school that receives these funds has to work with their parent groups, school site council, to make sure that there's been transparency in the use and the desires based on data and other needs identified at the school site. And also at the district level, it is reviewed by PAC, DAC, and DLAC, and they do certify that we have gone through those processes. And once again, we meet with them 4 or 5 times a year. 17, 18, we expect to meet September, November, January, March, and May. And so every year, like we said, through the support of LACO and through our business department, we make sure that we are expending and accounting for our categorical funds properly.
How much money are we talking about?
So altogether, it's a little over $1,115,684,000. The breakdown for the title programs are Title I, $85,771. Excuse me, let me try that again. $851,771. For Title II, teacher quality, $109,489. Title III, limited English, a little over $119,000. And Title III immigrant, we don't receive that many funds. That's for $35,377. And once again, these are estimated as to what we are appropriated from the federal government.
These are in sync.
Yes, and I'll just remind everyone that the federal government's budget doesn't come out until late fall, so there's likely to be an adjustment. These are the numbers that we understand.
And the federal government fully fund this? Or they want us 40%?
So the 40% number that you have in mind is related to special education federal money. This is not special education. We're expecting a 3% decline, which is what we budgeted. So we'll see what happens late fall.
The 40% is a target for special ed, but a target that they never meet. Is that right?
Yes, and
Since it was brought up, I just don't want there to be any confusion. So the federal government, their goal was to fund us 40% of our special ed costs, but they don't need to do that. Is that fair?
it's closer to 37%.
Oh, okay.
What they actually fund in comparison to the 100% of what you're required to do.
Right.
But what Melissa's talking about is also federal money, but it's the titles 1, 2, and 3, which is separate from our special ed.
And so I think the short answer is we just don't really know. We hope, we can cross our fingers, but I mean, no federal action has been taken at all on a budget, as far as I understand. Pass the plan resolution, whatever they do at the early stage of the process. So I think it's total mystery. We could get none of it. That's I think what we should, way back of our minds, be possibly preparing for. How does it? I didn't get to ask you this in advance. I'm sorry. Compared to what we've gotten in the past, is this basically in line based on our enrollment, the changes in our enrollment?
It isn't. The direction we've received from FICMAT, School Services, and LACO is to budget 3% less than the prior year, which is what we did.
Okay, I understand. That's very good. Thank you.
No more comments or questions. It's been moved and seconded for approval. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I will move to approve the agreement with Century Paving for the Emperor Elementary School paving project. Sure.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bell. Well done. Daniel, please.
So we did a job walk to kind of get the announcement out there for the project. We had 2 attend the job walk, which is really low. I heard the next day that only 1 would be bidding, but I didn't tell the other bidder that there was only going to be 1 bidder. So just to create a little bit of competition. So we did only receive 1 bid, and it was due to the fact that it's summer, everyone's getting their paving jobs done. Everyone that I talked to said, we can do your project in September, but we can't do it in August. So the one that bid is the only one that would be able to accommodate the schedule that we needed. We have not, but they've been approved through CUPCA. So they are a CUPCA contract.
Is this realistic?
I'm sorry?
Is this a realistic bid?
Yes.
What's the rest?
I was anticipating about 130. Right. Yes, that was all through. That was done through CUPCA. They have to be approved before they can. It's kind of like a pre-qual. It's just the process is a little bit different because it's CUPCA.
We're fairly certain they can get one.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments? Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I will move to receive board policies for our second reading and approval. Board policy 5121, board policy for bylaw 9240, and board bylaw 9320. Moved and seconded. Ms. Murray, would you like to comment on this?
I would, thank you. Whoa, this is something. Workman's comp right now.
Hold on just a minute.
I don't like to have an accident on premises when I'm not teaching. Okay, folks, here's my concern. And I know we always have ongoing conversations about students' grades. So I'm looking at this grades / evaluation of student achievement. And here's my big concern, and this is really the reality of what happens, at least at Oak, perhaps in 6th grade. Anytime we're grading, when primary kids are just getting, like satisfactory or needs improvement, whatever, on their particular skills, that's kind of a whole different ballgame. But by the time kids get in 6th grade, and maybe even a little bit younger and up through us, and I know at the high school also, and I really believe teachers are very professional about this. We have students, and this is the reality, students who can do their homework every single night, come in after school every single day for help, come on the days that we give the practice test, and will still not pass the test. And I think probably every year we have at least maybe, just on my team, which is 1/6 of the Oak population, we have 5 or 6 kids that have this issue. They work as hard as they can. Hopefully, we always hope that, well, maybe they'll grow up a little bit, they'll mature, maybe by the time they get in 8th grade or 9th grade, this will start making a little bit more sense. And my colleagues and I refer to these kids as poor babies. They work so hard. And I could just almost have tears in my eyes when I correct their test and see that, they made the same mistake over and over, they're just not getting it. And we're not talking about one chapter. We're talking about kids that really have a struggle all year. There's no lower math class for them to be in. There's no other English or social studies class. And I know this happens at the high school also, but when we say that other elements that are not a direct measure of knowledge and understanding shall not be factored into their academic grade, shall not be, that's really pretty firm right there, shall not be. And if this is what you decide to vote on in this exact language, then all of our teachers will be informed that that shall not be considered effort. And I think that's going to be a big mistake. And I think that's going to be really, really harmful to a lot of kids. Now, I don't see, and I can understand your need to have this policy. And it's not, to my knowledge, ever used because so-and-so didn't make an effort, so we're going to push his grade down or push her grade down. No, it's the kids that work really hard that just aren't really quite there. So we can't have the pressure, and basically I think at least at Oak, there's just not a whole lot of purpose. Threatening a kid with an F grade, this small group of kids I'm talking about, is not going to make them do any better or work any harder. So I think we maybe, and I don't know exactly, I'm not the English person, obviously. I don't know exactly how this could be rewritten, but when it says shall not be factored in, that's a huge thing. That's huge. And I think it will be a mistake for us to have that. Because if it says it shall not be factored in, people will not be allowed to consider that anymore. And I got to tell you, parents know their kid's not doing well. Parents call me and say, I help them with their homework every night, and they're still not getting it. And I'll have to say to them at back to school night, if your child does not pass the tests, your child will get an F in this class. That breaks my heart. I'm not the only one. I know it happens at the high school. When we go back and look at grades, or when you see a D- on somebody's report card, that pretty much knows, oh, that poor baby must have worked pretty hard, but they just didn't get it. So don't do this. Fix this. I don't know how to fix it. If I did, I'd probably be sitting someplace in another chair, in a comfy chair. Thank you.
We can. Just for the board's information, Dr. Kistler can speak as well. You'll recall that the effort now on behalf of all of education is equity, access, and the removal of subjectivity. Effort is considered to be one of those areas that is subjective. And so that is why CSBA, as well as a number of other groups, are asking schools throughout California to remove language that allows a teacher or educator to be subjective in their grade. So we're happy to do so, and to go and look at and to check our opportunities to do something different if that's your desire. But that is why the language is being changed throughout California, is equity and access and the removal of subjectivity. So that is why you're going to continue to see a number of policies, the removal of any language that is not measurable by data. So we're happy to do that and look at other language, and yet that is the intent.
Nothing, then the old board policy still in effect. So if we did nothing, all the new stuff would be removed. I have one question on the second page, I guess it is, of the evaluation says that the grades assigned for the teacher shall not be changed by the board superintendent. Does that also include anybody else other than, is there anybody else that's change a grade? Any teacher can give the grade. So if a coach wants some student to participate and the grades aren't high enough, can they change the grade?
So teachers are usually the grades based on their multiple measures or their assessments that they've created on behalf of that group. And so once a teacher is given a grade, I think this is speaking more to the potential of the administrator or somebody else coming in and asking for a parent, asking for a grade change. And the consideration ultimately is the teacher's default, and that's the same as in the current language. If I may speak to just a couple of things, because critical mindset. And really what we're finding is that academically we're looking for multiple measures, not necessarily just an assessment piece. The idea of reporting and grades and giving students very clear indications towards the standards that we have recently moved to, so that the conversation is going from you an 82% is a to you need to work on providing more evidence, or you did not present a logical algorithm, fill in the blank, or whatever, so that the kids actually have that tangible piece to working towards mastery. I do want to speak a little bit to what Kathy was talking about in terms of equity and access. And through some of the other reporting that we have to do, we have to provide opportunities for many of our kids to have access to courses in middle school. It starts in middle school and moves on to high school. And we want to make sure that the grades, however they look, are indicative of what they can do. Really, content areas such as science and mathematics and languages, you have to have those foundational skills in order to move forward. But really, there are opportunities that we address and look at, and some of those opportunities for students are focused on grades. And so it can work if we have multiple majors and multiple opportunities for students to be successful. And that's the mindset piece. And that's what we want to consider for that. And I think that it's brought forth from CSB as well as the state of California with the idea of how we can make students successful, how we can be very data-driven as to their actual ability academically, and then help support those pieces academically. Not only in any report card scenario, teachers are going to be able to come to through comment and narrative or through behavioral elements for how to success if kids have made strong efforts or if they are absent. And so there's a multiple myriad of multiple employees for students to demonstrate success, and that's just
Yes, thank you for that. And I wasn't here when this was for the first reading, and so I'm supportive if we want to perhaps just for this one policy maybe bring it back again. But I'm sensitive to the fact that a grade really should reflect the level of academic work that is shown. And I think in looking at the language as it was before, just in this particular paragraph, what was stricken out and what was added, the language pretty much already said that the grade should be based. It says on an impartial, consistent observation of the quality of the student's work and mastery of course content and district standards, and then it talks about different ways to demonstrate that mastery, such as classroom participation and homework, portfolios, tests. But I'm not really sure that that language before really allowed much room for boosting a grade based on things like work habits, effort, or student conduct. Now, but it's a negative statement that's added to sort of clarify and to make it really firm, right? So, and I want to have a good discussion about that, and also maybe given the concerns raised by Ms. Morgan, thank you for your concerns, that if there are students in those situations, obviously we don't get down in the weeds, so we don't know all of the additional supports that might be provided either at Oak or at the high school. But there are additional supports, so maybe it would be helpful just to have a little background as to, if there's a situation where maybe a student was getting a slightly higher grade and maybe even passing a class they wouldn't have otherwise passed based on, their effort when their academic work wasn't really demonstrating passing grade. What else might have been done or what could be done? It's a very different question, but and maybe our student board member has some thoughts too. But anyway, I guess just looking at this only the words, it seems to sort of clarify maybe what was already the intent, which was to really basically quality academic.
So regarding the policy of our was to our surprise, or to the majority of the class's surprise, that the answer was actually incorrect. So if it weren't for that participation from the student, then the class would have just gone with the assumption that this particular concept was the way that it was, and they wouldn't have found out until they had a ramification where it actually affected their grade. So I can see why participation is encouraged in the classroom setting, is to show whether or not you understand the concept correctly and whether or not there needs to be some work in a specific area. But I also do think that it's subjective, which is based on the fact that it's open-ended. So there may be people that really want to participate. So if it is incorporated into the grade, it does end up boosting it. And there are some people that prefer to not participate in the general classroom setting, but participate, like let's say, in a one-on-one acting school. And in some cases, that's not generally classified as participation in terms of the grade book. So the different ways of participation is subjective, but I do hope that if it was removed from, like if it was placed in a way where it does not directly affect the academic grade, I'd still hope that it still be encouraged in the classroom setting. Like I can see here it says in the bold text and or classroom discussion as appropriate. So I'm hoping maybe like an addition. I'm not a teacher or anything, so I don't know how the curriculum works, but hopefully like in a way where participation is encouraged, could be like a Socratic seminar or something like that, to the point where even if it doesn't affect your grade, it's still a tool that you can use to help you encourage or boost your academic work. Because participation doesn't necessarily reflect your abilities, but it's a way for you to enhance your abilities through like contact with other students or with other teachers. So if it wanted to affect the grade book, I still hope that it encouraged them instead of the classroom.
So if we pretty much have consensus that we'd like to do another review for board policy. So on the board policy, or bylaw 9240, on the third page, stated here, board members shall report to, and then story out the board. I think that word "to" should also be marked out. Third page of board policy, board bylaw 9240. Technically the fourth paragraph, the last paragraph, before we start getting to legal references. We go ahead and paragraph 7 about the board president shall not permit any disturbance, yada yada yada. And then the verbiage that's struck out, it's like, I don't know if that's doubled or was it copied and pasted and struck out?
Yeah, it looks like only one should be struck out.
So one struck out and then the second struck out is going to remain.
I mean, the only difference appears to be the capitalization of the word president, which I think is important. President should capitalize.
Well, I'm not referring to the title of a person. It's the latter part of that first paragraph where it says that there shall be grounds for president to terminate the privilege. It's just, I don't really know why it's doubled.
So we'll go back and look. Without knowing ahead of time, it's harder for us to respond because what is stricken typically is what CSB recommends be removed. So without knowing and having the original with us, it's hard for us to comment on that. So
yeah,
we can bring that back as well if that's the board's desire.
So then there'll be an amendment to the motion.
So we're talking about bringing back 9323 for an additional reading. How about we just bring them all back? Okay. So I will rescind my motion to approve board policy. Mr. Mulberg, so we just let this lie and then
We have to
We'll table it.
table it to the next meeting.
okay. Then I move that we table item 22 to our next meeting.
Okay.
Second by Mr. Mulberg. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving on to our consent agenda, which is routine items approved by one motion and one vote, unless a member of the board or audience requests that any item be reviewed and voted upon separately. Are there any such requests?
Yes. Number 23, I ask that we vote on number 23 separately.
Any other requests?
I'm not sure what, I'm not sure which one it is.
The principal
That's
shift,
personnel.
that would be number 25, the certificate of personnel. You want to move that one out?
Yes. This one here? 25. And 24, I guess.
Okay. We can approve the consent and you can ask questions. We can set a motion to. All right, so it's already been moved to, I move to approve the consent agenda. Items 24, 26, 27.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Mr. Pomeroy. Any questions concerning the remaining items in the consent agenda? Which is item 24.
Okay, number 24 on the contracts. We have a whole bunch of landscaping in that. We hiring outside people now to do landscaping.
This particular landscaping is for pruning of trees, so we don't have the appropriate equipment for pruning trees properly.
So all three of the contracts, or two contracts, are for just the trees.
Yes.
So 17, 18, almost $18,000.
Yes, and actually this is 13,000 less than our previous contract.
Okay, and then on the other page, the third from the bottom. We had a settlement or something?
Yes, the special education settlement.
Anything else, Ken?
I'm looking.
While he's looking, items 169, the She International software. What is that? Page 5.
I'm looking at my memories like shooting at me. This is a standard software package that we pay for every year. I apologize. I can email you tonight who SHI is. Do you remember?
You might possibly get it tomorrow.
I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, it just, this is a recurring, obviously at the beginning of the year, we're spending a lot of money to renew licenses and everything. This is a license for it.
Yes, and it's through the educational technology budget, but if you want to know the specifics
I don't
of the
need
software, we
specifics.
could.
No, if it's a recurring
It is.
licensing cost, then it is what it is. And obviously we've got the dance equipment going on here, which I hear the dance room is really coming along nicely. Okay, did you find your other questions?
Yeah.
All right, so all in favor of approving the consent agenda?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Okay. I move to approve item 23, minutes of the regular meeting of the Board of Education for June 28th, 2017. Seconded by Mr. Nollenberg.
Comment?
Yes.
I will, the be abstaining since I wasn't at the meeting, but I just recommend to my colleagues that on the votes, the language seems to indicate that I abstained or Mr. Gould abstained when we were absent. I think it actually should say we were absent and not use the word abstain. So that's what I recommend. In each situation. Thank you.
Because they weren't here, so they couldn't have abstained.
So if the board could approve it with those amendments, I'd appreciate it.
I'll rescind my motion and I move that we approve the minutes for regular meeting of Board of Education for June 28th as amended by suggested amendments by Mr. Second by Mr. Nolberg. All in favor?
Aye. I abstain.
I abstain.
Three ayes and 2 real abstains.
That's right. Present. Not absent, then we abstain. It's fun to abstain.
I knew I should have had some coffee for it. Okay, so the next one, all right, I will move to approve our certificated personal order 1718-01.
Second that.
Second by Mr. Pomeroy. Yes. Dr. Kuna, do you have something to add to this?
I would, but would you like me to do it after it's approved?
You know what? Let's do it after it's approved. Thank you very much. Are there any questions about this? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay, so we have 4 ayes and 1 abstain, Mr. Gould.
All right, so yes, I'm happy to address, as part of the certificated personnel order that you just approved, you also approved the addition to our staff of Sarah Vialma, and we're very excited to have Sarah on board. Sarah comes to us from, most recently as a high school administrator in Rialto, but she spent 7 years in Laco, working with both ROP and CTE, which is exactly what we would like for her to be doing here as the Director of School to Career Enrichment. And so one of the pieces that not only the experience with CTE and ROP that really spoke to us, but Sarah's also an entrepreneur, and she has a business background. And one of the things we've talked about, a couple of things, is this is really about marketing our CTE programs, and her experience and her entrepreneurship are some of the things that really will help to grow the program. And not only that, but also with our extended learning program, which she'll be taking part of, overseeing. It's helping to grow that program as well. And so we're really excited to have Sarah with us. So Sarah, if you would like to address anything.
Thank you very much. Thank you, board and cabinet. I just want to say that I am very happy and excited to be joining Temple City Unified. I've always held Temple City very, in high regard in all of my past experiences. I did have experience working with Temple City when I was at Laco. And so I'm just looking forward to all the different aspects of the position, contributing as much as I can to the vision of the district, and I'm looking forward to collaborating and contributing and getting to know everybody.
Well, Sarah, welcome to Temple City. We're excited for new family members to join us, because we do think of ourselves as a family. We all treat each other respectfully, and we all try to hold each other up for the betterment of our students. So I'm very, very thankful to welcome you. And just a word of advice, don't carpool with this guy. Any other comments?
Or agenda items?
Okay, we're not, I'm just, any comments about it?
Welcome, and we're glad to know that that whole area of school to career and CTE and the other acronyms that you mentioned really been a priority of our superintendent, and I again applaud her for that and the connections that we've made with Pasadena City College recently. So, it's an important, really important component of our district. So, we look forward to it.
Moving on to item 29, board comments. Mr. Nolan.
Yeah, for agenda items, I'd like to see us give the staff report and discuss at the board what we can do for maybe increasing safety of bikes, maybe something with the automobiles and driver's license, and also what we were doing related to the drug problem, if we had one, what we could do without spending a lot of money. And also, I guess, and this is more of a general question, not an agenda item per se, but there was some negative feedback about the curriculum change at one of the schools. And the problem is no one will define what curriculum they were talking about. It could have been the new math, or it could be something else. Do we have any classes that we have new curriculum we've changed drastically other than math that's mandated?
Right now, we're at comments, not necessarily questions.
Was the document as a comment? Could be added to the agenda.
So you like a report of any curriculum that's been added to any of the campuses? Mr. Bell? Mr. Plummer?
I just ask at some point that we review our policy regarding, maybe it's a bylaw, I don't know, adding items onto the board agenda, particularly when requested by a community member.
And I have no comments. All right, I will move that we adjourn tonight's meeting. Second by Mr. Nolan.